Today we are talking compound versus isolation exercises. What are they, which is best, and what you should be doing within your training program. So let's find out. Okay, so you might be in a situation where you don't quite know what a compound exercise is. You don't know if you should be doing them. You don't know if you should be doing isolation exercises. You don't quite know what they are either. All common questions. And you might be following some training program from a fitness magazine or something like that has you doing some weird and wonderful exercises that you feel aren't really getting you that sort of benefit that you need. Well, if that's you, this video is going to help. So let's kick off with trying to understand what actually is a compound movement versus what is an isolation movement. So a compound movement is effectively recruiting multiple muscles to perform a particular exercise. So in that scenario, it would be bench press, it would be the squat, it would be the deadlift, movements like that where you're using multiple muscles to move that weight. An isolation exercise, on the other hand, is pretty much the polar opposite of that. You are effectively, as the name would suggest, isolating one particular muscle to perform a movement. And a good example of that would be the bicep curl, because you are effectively just pivoting from the elbow and therefore just recruiting the bicep to lift that particular weight. Now, because a compound movement allows you to use multiple muscles, it therefore means you can generally move bigger and heavier weights. Isolation exercises, on the other hand, lend themselves more to higher repetitions and lower weights. Now, why does that make a difference? Well, if you read all the research that's out there, then it tells you that heavier weightlifting and lower repetitions leads to more strength and muscle growth than high volume, high repetition movements alone. So in that respect, you should really be focusing on compound movements as the core of your training program. These will be the biggest bang for your buck. They'll allow you to make the greatest and most efficient increases in muscle, in lean muscle development and in strength at the same time. And that is key. Effectively, if you want the general purpose of building a bit more muscle, looking a bit leaner, having some muscle tone, whether you're a guy or a girl, the compound movement is the exercise that you want to be focusing on. Now, that's not to say that an isolation exercise has no purpose within your training program. That's not what I'm saying. Because if, for example, you focus too much on compound movements, let's take example the squat. The squat incorporates multiple different muscles. So for example, something like a front squat is very quad dominant. And therefore, if you're only doing compound movements that focus on moving multiple muscles, but really focus heavily on one particular muscle, then you are going to potentially create an imbalance. So in that scenario, you potentially create an imbalance in your hamstring by not focusing on the posterior muscles as much as you are on the anterior muscles, i.e. front and back. So the isolation exercise can correct that muscle imbalance by allowing you to specifically focus in on that lagging body part, but also with the right balance to your training, it can help prevent that body part becoming lagging in the first place. So in general, it's about creating a balance across your training program. And don't forget that if you're targeting training volume, i.e. you're trying to hit a number of repetitions and a number of sets per workout and per week, then an isolation exercise incorporated in your workout can really help you hit those training volume targets. Because to be honest, trying to hit a high degree of volume with compound movements is really probably a recipe for injury, and it's very taxing on the body, so it's not always that achievable for most people to do that. So what I would suggest you do is prioritize 3 to 4 compound movements in your training program within any particular workout, do those first within your training program and make sure that you've got your maximum energy, your maximum focus to lift what is going to be the heavier weight. It's going to take more out of you. Important to put those up front because they are going to be where you're going to make the biggest gains in your muscular and strength development. Then at the tail end of your workout, 1 to 2 isolation exercises, either to round off the workout nicely or to focus on some lagging body parts, is really going to give you a nice balance across your program. So therefore, incorporate those at the end when you're probably slightly more fatigued. It allows you then to incorporate some higher volume, some higher repetitions and lower weights, but still to good effect. And that will help you round off a good program. So in summary, which is best? Well, compound exercises are going to give you that bang for your buck. So focus on those as your priority. But don't neglect your isolation exercises. They do have a purpose. Incorporate them at the end of your workouts. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. And if you want a burning question answered by me in a video such as this, like a which is best scenario, then throw your suggestions in the comment section below and I'll turn that into a video for you. But for now, thanks very much for watching and I'll see you on tomorrow's video.